time I come to your city, I need them rollers on. No matter what you rockin', we rockin', I need them rollers on. Hey, hey.
What's up, guys? It's your boy Rob, and today we wanted to talk about the pros and the cons about being in the United States Navy. I did from 2013 to 2021. Honorable discharge. So I have a good experience on shore duty and um, sea duty as well. So we'll talk about that, and let's go ahead and get it started. The first pro that we're going to talk about today is the global travel that you get to do while you're in the military, right? You go to a sea command and you're able to hit your deployment, or you might meet your ship on deployment, or during your time you might not be able to hit the deployment, but you'll definitely do like short routes. During my time, I've hit about 19 different countries. Um, can't really say exactly where I went because of security clearance reasons, but I can say I've been to the UAE. Most of my countries have been over there. I can say I've been to Romania, um, and some other countries like that. I've been to like Africa, places like that. So it was really amazing traveling, getting to see the different cultures, get to eat different food from the cultures as well. Really amazing travel. But what comes with travel is also cons, so we'll talk about that later. But the next pro that I would like to talk about is the different variety of jobs that are available. Um, no matter what you did prior to the military, right, you have an option to not do something like that, right? So, when you may be doing construction right now, or you might be doing fast food, right? So if you are doing construction right now, there is jobs like that in the military called a CB, stuff like that. Or if you do fast food, you cooking, you want to cook, you can be a CS. But so there's different type of variety of jobs in the military. I can't say pick your rate, pick your fate. If you know, you know. I personally was an engineman. I wanted to use my hands, so being a diesel, it was diesel mechanic. If you don't know, so I was an engineman in the Navy. Really loved it. Didn't have many problems while I was in, as far as that my rate was good advancement, things like that. I was a E1, made it all the way to E5 in very short amount of time, and decided to get out, spend more time with family, which is another. We'll talk about that later. But you have time that you could pick IT, and then there's a good way that transitions very well into the civilian side of things. You have a corpsman that can transition very well as well. Also, I mean, there's so many different counselors. There's counselors in the military that transition very well, so you're able to pick those rates and live and die by those rates. You can transition in, but it takes a while. Definitely if you don't have a good Navy career counselor, things like that. But you can swap your rate while you're in. But the next pro I would go to would be educational benefits. Okay, so I just used most of my GI Bill. I still got like 11 months left on my GI Bill, but I've already graduated with my bachelor's degree in cybersecurity. So after I got out, I decided to use my GI Bill. I still got some left, so I'm gonna get my master's later. But while you're in the military. Now, let me tell you, this is the thing. They say you can go to school for free and all that stuff. Yes, you can, but there's stipulations that they put in place now that it's 2025 instead of 2021. When I got out, is that instead of getting 36 months with your GI Bill, if you do 2 terms, which is 2 contracts, you get 48 months. So that right there in itself is just trying to get people to stay in longer. Which I mean, do your shore duty, man. Do your C command, do shore duty, then get out. Then that's 8 years right there, and you're able to do 48 months of free school. If you don't want to do school, you can give it to your kids, but you have to make that decision while you're in the military. Now you can't wait until you have kids. You have to have it, during that time. But there's little things that you need to learn that they probably won't tell you prior to you getting in. So just keep that in mind. Do your deep research. If you have any questions or comments, please hit me in the comment section. I'll try to answer as many as I can. But the next pro that we're going to talk about is the people that you meet while you're in the military. Now, this could be a pro or as a con. To be honest, like there's a lot of people that are, I would say, there's a lot of people that will get on your nerves in the military. Do your best to ignore them and just kick it with the people that that really have a future going, or they really have your same interests, right? So I met people while I was in that I consider my people now, my homies now, for that maybe I didn't have for a long time or whatever the case may be. But I met people that I consider them, day ones now. You know what I mean? So, you'll be able to meet people and friends from different walks of life, different places. I mean, I met the first person I ever met. I mean, I met somebody from like Wisconsin. I never met anybody from Wisconsin before. You know what I mean? The stuff like that in New York or Cali or Hawaii or Guam, they're from everywhere. They're people from different countries. I had a kid that was from Russia, born, and he moved to the U.S. and he joined the military. It worked for me, So you'll meet a bunch of different people in the military, and just make sure you, I would say, just make sure you hang out with the right people. There's some people that might have your best interests. Seems like they might have your best interests, but they really don't. And I promise you, it's gonna hurt later on if they, something happens while you in and they turn their back on you, et cetera, et cetera. But yeah, just keep that in mind. I would say another pro is definitely gonna be the benefits. Okay, look, I don't have to do medical for the rest of my life. I don't, once you get out, you register with the VA and you go, all your VA appointments can go there. It's $50 an appointment, no matter how big or small the surgery. The thing is, how big or small it is, they'll take care of you. Like I had surgery on my eye, like $50, no problem. Like if you do that in civilian world, it's thousands of dollars. So you can get free VA loan, you get you a house as long as you have good credit. Get your credit clean, or not get your credit clean, then boom, you get a house. Like, they really take that money that they pay you the first to 15th, to account. And that's another pro. You get paid the first and the 15th. Like, no matter what's going on in the world, any layoffs, you don't have to worry about that. You get you a check. You know what I mean? Um, it does. There's different things that might benefit. Like that is a leans into being a con too. So let's start that first with my first con, the pay. Okay, when I was in, the money sucked. Like the money still probably sucks now, but let's be honest, man. We didn't make a lot of money, but there's different ways that you can look at that. Like you could eat all 3 meals on the ship or wherever you station. Like you could eat there and not have to worry about no dinner or any food on the way, to the dorm or whatever. But nobody wants to eat ship food every day. Con will be the time you spend away from at sea. Now, this could be a pro and con. I put it in the con because when I was out at sea, I never got to sleep. I was always working, stuff like that. There's no days off in the military. You can't just call off like how you do in the civilian world. So just keep that in mind, man. Like I had a kid that came, was new. He felt sick, and he called me. He's like, "Hey, pay officer, I can't come in. I'll call off today." I was like, "Bro, you can't call off. Like, you got to come to the ship no matter how sick you are, and you got to go to sick call, and then they'll write you a note and give it to us, and then we route it up, and you go home. Like, you have to get a piece of paper for everything." So, um, time at sea, you are so busy during your time there. Yes, when you pull in, you can have free time, but sometimes you don't put you pull in, and you might have duty that day and you'll get to miss a whole day or 3 days in Dubai. Like, you know what I mean? So it just plays the time to see kind of plays a pro and con factor there. So just keep that in mind. Um, Another con I would say is just limited communication with family and friends on deployments, like when you're gone the time of sea. So like that you don't get to call moms like just on every Monday, but you can't or Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, you can't just call our family whenever you want to. Now, there is ways to call people on the ship. If you know, you know. I'm not gonna give you away the sauce, even though I'm out. I don't want to give away the sauce or get anybody in trouble. But just know, make some friends, in certain rates, and you will be able to make a phone call. But yes, um, another con I would say is you're on a strict schedule, and like there's always like really strict like orders too. So like you don't really have a lot of personal freedom to just say what you want or do what you want on either underway or in board. Like you have to like really, you can't really just do whatever. You know what I mean? There's no like, there's really no freedom of speech either. Like, you know what I mean? You can't just say like, "Oh, I don't want to do that." Like it doesn't go like that, bro. Like it's not gonna happen. So you just gotta respect the people that's over you. And I had a problem with that a little bit, but you know, you gotta kind of adjust. But you know, sometimes the way around that is if it's in black and white, then you right. So if they saying something that's not in black and white, you don't have to really do it. As long as you prove it in black and white, just know there is repercussions for that. In some type of way, like they might try to get you on eval, something like some stupid like that's happened to me before. But you know, it is what it is. You know, you just like take it with a grain of salt and move on. It's kind of how a lot of the stuff gets handled in the military. Um, Another thing is it can impact relationships, right? The military, being in the Navy, a military general can really impact a relationship, right? You might be gone for 30 days, come back home. You know, the person you had at home could have been doing whatever with whoever, and you probably would have never known. You know what I'm saying? Like, it happens all the time. I've known people who, like, for some reason, they never left the ship, and then you like, "Oh, what's going on, bro?" Like, "Bro, I'm not going home. My lady done cheated on me. I don't want to be at home." You know, there's a bunch of different situations I've seen, man. Um, it's really hard on relationships. My best advice: just don't get in a relationship. Like, have fun, bro. Like, I'm telling you, it's better off that way. And unless you find somebody that you die hard for, like whatever, then I would, you know, suggest you say, "Hey, I'm getting out this time. Let's just lock in till then." You know, whatever. You know, you don't want to happen like whatever. But you don't want things to happen while you're gone. I mean, not it doesn't happen to everybody, but man, I've seen some stories. I got some stories that I'll never forget because of some, you know what I mean. But anyways, we'll move past that. But another con, the next con was is gonna be the next con is gonna be how frequently you move. Like once you have kids, say you have kids or whatever, and you are stationed in Virginia, and you'll be there for 4 years, and then, after those 4 years, and your friends, your kids have made a bunch of friends, you have to move. Like, say you move to San Diego now, like, now then you go to San Diego, now you made new friends, you got to make new friends, new this, and then you end up that contract, then you got to go again. So this time you might enter Japan, like, it's a lot of moving. It disrupts a lot of friends and family for the kids, but they make a lot of friends as well. One of my friends growing up, his parents were in the military, and they moved to Alabama. He was stationed there, and he never left. And his family, he just stayed there with his mom. Let's take an impact on the kids' education, in my opinion. So just keep that in mind. If you already have kids, you decide to get in, just know that. Um, I would definitely say that the next con is probably one of the biggest ones. It is the fact that it is physically and mentally demanding and draining to be in the military. Like, definitely in the Navy. Excuse me. Definitely to be in the Navy. You always have to be on the move. It's always a time that you need to be somewhere. You get up early, you might work late, you might work all day, and nobody cares, and you get back up and do it again. It's physically and mentally draining. Definitely, if like in my situation, like I was an E5, but I didn't have an E6. So like my E6 was me and all the other second classes, and we had to run it, and we just did our thing. Like, it got to the point where it was mentally and physically draining on my body. And if you get in, you kind of, or if you are in, you kind of understand what I'm talking about. And so just be prepared for that. We make it through? You damn right we did. So, there we go. But that which is leads to the next, and probably the final con, the final con, which is the long hours, man. I used to work up like 16 hours a day or 14-hour days, and just kept pushing. Like, there is very, very long hours in the military, and you will get used to it. But if you do 4 years and get out, man, like you go feel those 4 years. You know what I mean? So shout out to the people who do do their whole time, 20, 26. I've seen people get out 26 years and just loved it. You know what I mean? Didn't have problems, but they had a couple problems, but it is what it is. They turned it into their lifestyle. So I know in my next video, we're going to talk about, boot camp, military life a little bit. But today I want to just strictly talk about the pros and the cons in my time in the military. And if you can, please like, comment, subscribe on the video and on the channel. It does really good for the channel, help it grow. We're going to talk a lot more about my time in the military, and we're also going to talk about my time after the military and as a disabled vet. But thank you for everything. We'll see you next time.
Give me all the strain, I take it off my brothers. Give me all the blame, I take it off my brothers. Give me all the pain, I take it off my brothers. Give me all the pain. Give me all the strain, I take it off my brothers.